Welcome back to the Flex Media Podcast. Today I'm here with my cousin. He's a second-year grad student here at UNL. Matt, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Matt Meyer. Like he said, I'm a second-year grad student. Getting my master's degree in art and design, specifically in sculpture. But I do like sculpture, painting, graphic arts, printmaking, just different things, even podcasts, and trying to get into video work, just to get my point across. I also teach a class here, and so when I graduate, I'll be teaching in the college, in sculpture areas.
Nice. So to start, I kind of just want to ask like a broad question. What do you like consider art, or like what's art to you?
Art it could be anything and it could be nothing. Like it's a feeling, a creative way to display an emotion. So it could be visual art, it could be music, sound, pretty much anything.
Anything could be art?
Almost anything. But a lot of stuff people say, oh yeah, that's art. And even if I feel like we all have our own definition, so I might not think it's art, but you might think it is.
I mean, so does art have to do something? Does there have to be a reason for art? Does it have to inform? Does it have to educate? Does it have to? It doesn't have to?
It doesn't have. Art could be like, you don't have to have because there's a difference. There's like conceptual work, and then there is people who make art for art's sake. And so people do that. Like a little kid will go and they'll draw something down, and that is art for art's sake. I will go and I'll make something that is based upon whatever I talk about, and that's conceptual art. So anybody could be like an artist, even if you think you can't. You draw in a stick figure, that's some art stuff right there. But I think there's a difference between artists and creators. Like artists, they have their thing that they do, and they make that work that way, and they just want to make, and there's nothing wrong with that. But then there's a creator who tries to get a point across, who tries to make you feel. But it doesn't matter, it's a visual creator, a film creator, a music creator, it doesn't like anything. Like I consider myself in the creator aspect, because I have a goal, I have a mission. And that mission isn't necessarily just talked about through sculptures or through paintings and stuff like that. It can be talked about through poems and even like photography or music or like anything really.
So, why do you make art then?
I make art because, well, it has varied as I've gotten older. So in the beginning, I made art for art's sake. And then I made art to like when I started dabbling in conceptual stuff, was about like whatever it was about. But now I make art because I'm tired. I make art because I need to educate. I make art because people are ignorant, and not ignorant in the sense of like there's something wrong with you, but ignorant in the sense of we just don't know. There's nothing wrong with being ignorant, because everybody's ignorant to something. But at the same time, like I make art to inform and also to release. So all my work is about the Black American experience. And I talk about things that I've experienced here, things that my homies, my family, or just anybody in America who's Black has that experience here. And so with that, it's like I'm kind of tired of the things I experience, because I feel like they'll never end. But at the same time, it's a release, and I can rejoice within the things that have to do with my community. And the Black voice has been diluted and spoken about through people who aren't necessarily in our community. And so with my work, I'm giving the Black voice, just like people like Langston Hughes or Maya Angelou, even like Jay-Z have given access to the Black voice, through the Black experience. And that is my whole goal. So
inform, educate, and what kind of pieces do you make?
So I have pieces that all my work has to do with apprehension and elation. Apprehension is the sense of finding some sort of fear, or the constant fear within your body that something is going to happen that is bad. So the constant fear within us as Black Americans that we'll either get pulled over or get killed, or that we won't get a job, or that will ultimately amount to nothing, is a constant fear. However, then there is things like elation, which is a contentness and joy within ourselves, within our community, with the things that we do. And so sometimes they do overlap, because I have pieces where it's talking about how there are a bunch of black towns that used to be in America that we built that got destroyed. So for one, there's a town called Seneca Village, and they bulldozed over that, and they made a park. There's a town that people swim and people play and fish or whatever they need to do up in Lake Lanier, and then not knowing that they're embarking upon a town that is underneath the lake. They got mad and they wanted to revolt, and so they basically drowned us. And so that's sad stuff. That's like fear that this could happen again no matter what we build. There's even within that there were banks there.
I mean, yeah, redlining, gentrification.
And it's like, that's sad, like, because that stuff is like still going on. But then at the same time, it's like, damn, we are doing so much that y'all want to get rid of us. But why? Y'all not doing that to really anybody else, fully, like in America. But it's like, I find joy within knowing that we are great people, that we have to be attacked. That I find joy in knowing that we are still building, still are uplifting each other.
Yeah. And just looking at your art, right? You do canvas paintings, you do digital art, sculpture. Do you think you have like a signature or anything?
Yeah, so I'm gonna start off by saying I don't want to destroy. I do destroy things that I'm not like messing with no more. Like if I don't like it, it's going, get tossed. But a lot of my work has like a sort of, some people might say, quickness to it, or street artist to it. I do have a certain style. I believe that in anything that you do, if you want to be successful in it, you have to show that you are capable of doing those certain things with that certain way. So when it comes to my artwork, I show that I am capable of producing work that maybe, quote unquote, the Western people have said is the way to do it. But then I have my own way of adding my own self within it, whether it be with my words, with the things I create, the way I paint, the way I draw. So my paintings are drawings. I'll call them drawings because I don't like to paint. And I don't like to draw, but I like to draw and paint at the same time. So those are drawings. But my signature is within there because you might have like if you look at it, some might see there's like some quickness to it or some destructive qualities. But I do not like to be seen as an angry black man, so I do not destroy entirely.
And you say that, you say angry black man, not just an angry man.
Yeah, so like I'm a man, you a man. Anybody, we're all people. We all are the same species. However, there are differences between us. And I think that we should recognize that our differences between us, but not hold that against us. My girlfriend is a black woman, but that doesn't mean she should only be seen as a black woman. She should be seen as a black woman who is successful, this. But some people will say, why you got to talk about her as a black woman? Why can't she just be a woman? Because she is not seen that way. And there's power within calling yourself what you are. So for me and you, we are blood related, 100%. Your dad and my dad, 100% brothers. However, when you're angry, people go, damn, what made him so mad? But for me, people go, damn, why are they so mad? And
Why are they?
Why are they? Yeah, it's like when a lot of things, I'm considered a they. But if I do something that's positive, I'm he did this, he did that. But if it's something that is seen negative, it's a they.
If it's a stereotype.
Yeah.
So a basketball player, he's so good.
He's so good.
But
LeBron James, he cold as hell. But LeBron James, who's talking about Black Lives Matter, why they always gotta do this? Why can't they just do this?
Why can't they just do this?
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. Yeah, and you think that's kind of what motivates you to make art?
In a way. All my work is to educate. All my work is to inform not only like just like black people. I mean, not only just non-black people, but it's also to inform black people because there was a certain point in time where we seem to lost our way and knowledge of who we are. And I believe I make my work for us because nobody's going to understand us more than us. Yes, anybody can connect to anything in the world. A white person who has painted all these medieval things, I could connect in some way, shape, or form to whatever they made. A Latino person who makes things about this and that, I could still connect to it in a way. Japanese art, I love the way the fish are made. I love the way that the painting, the colors that are done, this and this and this. I can still connect it to the way, but nobody's gonna understand it like the people who are part of it.
Mm-hmm. So if you had one piece that, if someone could only see one piece of yours, and have it labeled as Matt Meyer's piece, right? What piece would it be?
I would choose this piece that I have that it's like a print, and it has a black man on it. But it is also goes along this one that's just like it is a woman. And so with that, it's like you can't necessarily tell who it is. And then the woman, you don't know who the woman is, you don't know who the man is.
It's a silhouette?
It's a silhouette, yeah. And with that, it's we could be anything, but we are seen as the same in a way. People will confuse me with another black man just because it's like off rip, oh, they're similar. Like, the things that we do aren't necessarily seen as an individual thing. How, like, even when we grow up as kids, a lot of black kids are like made to believe that they can only be basketball players, or football players, or rappers, or they gotta be gangbangers and thugs and all this other stuff because it's what the media says. But they never really see in the world, like, or I don't know if it's parents not telling them, or they don't have the positive reinforcements, influence to do it. But they never see how they could be like doctors and lawyers and all this other stuff. So the epitome of being a black man. A lot of people will say, oh, they're always playing the woe is me game. Okay, well, try being in my shoes. It's like, I don't want to complain all the time. I don't want to say, oh, woe is me, this. But at the same time, I can't escape it. And so...
It's not an excuse if it happens.
It's not an excuse if it's constantly happening.
Right.
And it's like, oh, well, you'll have people say, my parents immigrated here, and they made this. Okay, they were allowed to do that. We were not allowed to do that. So the purpose of those pieces are to say the what if. Yes, you may be seen as this, but what if you were not? What if this person right here is actually the most successful person ever? What if this person right here is a whole architect? So I volunteer at North Star Foundation in Omaha, and a lot of the kids they're pretty great at sports. A lot of them are inner city kids, and so I ask them, what do you want to be? And they want to be a basketball player or a football player or even a soccer player or whatever. But then I tell them, yo, that's not all you have to be. Like, I don't know how you got to this point that you believe that is the only way out. Yes, I believe in you that you could be that, you can be this, but at the same time have a plan B, and sometimes your plan B is better than your plan A. I believe that you should strive to have greatness in the world. Not saying that being a basketball player is wrong or wanting to be that is wrong, because it's not. But at the same time, you should want to be more than just what is handed to you, and that is the purpose of those pieces.
Wow. Yeah. And I mean, kind of with that, is there a subconscious kind of saying, like, I don't think, like, I think twice about what I say, but I'm never thinking this person might not like me because some reason. Is there a subconscious to that?
Yeah, there's always a thing of me getting down. I'm not gonna be liked, I'm not gonna be welcome, I'm not gonna be this because I am black. That goes along with, I don't like being in the room, like, if I'm the only black person in the room, I don't like that. And
so you realize that?
Yeah,
so it's
from a young age.
You realize when you're the only black person in the room.
Yeah, it's like an automatic thing. And, like, I could vibe with anybody.
And that makes you uncomfortable, or?
In a way, yeah.
Okay.
I could vibe with anybody. I could be cool with almost anybody. I could literally be chilling and I'm just cooling. But at the same time, it does make me uncomfortable if I'm the only black person in the room, or at least the only person of color, because I don't know what's going to happen. It's like, I'm not saying that every white person is racist. I'm not saying that everybody like this. But at the same time, it's like there's a worry. Like, what if they are? For example, I was sitting literally in a room, and I was the only black person, and everybody there had no, like, first visual of they could say something racist or say something harmful or do something harmful until alcohol was involved, and we had ran out, and it's about the 4th of July. And I was like, maybe I should go and get some more. And the comment wasn't necessarily made towards me, but it was made in a way that I would be affected. And so the dude says, this is the 4th of July. Them sad niggers at the 7-Eleven are not going to be around and let you buy alcohol. And it's like, you don't think that certain people would say certain things. But for him to say that, he felt so comfortable in saying that, and everybody in the room laughed. That let me know right there, I cannot be in no room full of just white people.
It was a white person.
Everybody was white there. And they thought it was funny. But if I made a comment about it, they'd be like, oh, why are you so upset? It's just a joke. Oh, y'all can't take a joke. Y'all can't do this.
Well, no, I mean,
it's not a joke. No.
I mean, that effect, yeah.
Yeah.
No, for sure. And kind of going back to the art, do you like the criticism that comes with making art? You know, like you're saying, it's polarizing, right? So there's going to be mixed emotions, and how do you take that criticism?
I love it. I love constructive criticism because I need it. It doesn't matter who it's from. It doesn't matter what race you're from. And side note, not everything has to be about race in the world. We could literally have a conversation and never touch race at all. I just laugh. Like, we could talk about basketball. We could talk about music. We could talk about anything and just like have a bonding experience. However, race does get touched upon a lot. So that's a little side note. But when it comes to like my work, constructive criticism doesn't matter. I don't care what race you are. I don't care what gender you are or what. Let me know what's working. Let me know what's not working. That way I can fix it. Because if I'm trying to go here, my mission is to go there, whatever, and I'm solely relying on upon my own thoughts, upon my own feelings, I'm not getting anything done because I'm communicating to myself. I'm having a self-talk with myself, and that's not what I'm trying to do. So if people could tell me, let's say like, for example, somebody had once said that, oh, if you maybe added, I forget what they said exactly, but if you added this, I would understand it better. And I love that. Like, that's cool. Come on. But then there's those people who, somebody said that one of my pieces, it was a picture, a painting I did. I put sculpture, a painting and sculpture put together. But basically, it was 2 kids. And at first rip, you see 2 kids like, oh, wow. And then you see that they have shooting targets on their back. And they said that I don't like when I see stuff like this. Like, it just makes me uncomfortable. You're foreign to it. That's why it makes you uncomfortable. You don't really have to worry about it. Yes, everybody has a possibility of getting shot. However, there's 2 kids, 2 black kids, and me and other black people will understand that this is a possibility. This is what happens. And so, yes, we're upset at it, but you feel some type of disgust with it. You feel uncomfortable with it because it's foreign to you. And those people who tell me to stop doing things like that, keep going. I love it. Because what you going to do? You're not going to do anything to me.
Yeah. And do you think that it's so you said that it's ignorance or not knowing of, and you make art to educate. So how do you communicate that? How do you educate it to someone that's ignorant?
So I make work that off rip, when you pass by it, it has interesting elements to it. It has elements on it that makes you want to walk up to it. That could be with color. That could be with the objects or the subject or whatever. Like, you want to walk up on it and view it. But then as you get closer, it's like in your face what I'm actually talking about. Ambiguity, which is like basically you're trying to hide some things and make it so people don't necessarily know exactly what you're talking about. I don't really like it. I do have like less than 1% of it in there.
Like, it's not subtle.
Yeah, it's not subtle at all. I want you to know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, there's teachers who would tell you verbatim, this is what I'm talking about, this is what I have to do, this. But they're telling it to you right off rip, and nobody's gonna be interested in that. I don't want to sit there and listen to you constantly. But the way I do it is like less than 1% slow reveal from far away. I want you to walk up on it. Just like if we're having a conversation, you gotta walk up on me and we got to have a conversation on what I'm talking about. And so it educates them through them having to have like intimacy with it.
Mm-hmm. It's not a lecture, right?
No.
Yeah.
Even if there's words in there, it's not a lecture. The words leave you with a questioning yourself, leave you with questioning other things. Like I said, everybody's ignorant to something, but after you view my work, you're either going to understand it, or you're going to hate it, or you're going to want to go and research more. Right. Even like stuff, I don't give everybody everything. I allow you to have some like time to question certain things. Like with the projects I'm working on now, even like with the lost towns, the burned down churches, and like the defunded schools, there are elements in there. There are things in there that let you know exactly what I'm talking about, but then there's some missing parts where you have to go and find out for yourself. I don't want to give you every single thing. I want you to have to learn.
Mm-hmm. And do you have you kind of touched on your upcoming projects. Do you have any upcoming projects that you're super excited about?
Yeah, so like I have my semester review on Friday, and with that they come in and they circle my committee circles my work, and I explain every idea that I had and talk about the pieces and stuff, and then they learn it and they ask me questions, they give me feedback, and they construct it and they here and here and here. So this semester, what I'm working with is like where I talk about the missing stuff, but then I'm also working with this anti-Karen, in my business type of propaganda in a way. I love propaganda. It's just something
you love propaganda
in a way, not like the full idea of propaganda, but the mission of it, the idea that you are making stuff to try to get people to understand something, to try to get people to go for it. My propaganda, the way I like propaganda, is the things that I'm making is trying to get you to focus in on something, trying to get you to react to it. So the quote unquote propaganda stuff is like these anti-Karen shirts. The message on the shirt is trying to get you to read this and maybe wear the shirt and go around and understand it. I'm not using propaganda how like the government use propaganda, but it's the idea of what they think that they're doing.
Right.
Is what I'm interested in.
And what's the work process like?
So when developing my work, I used to do sketches for everything, and I hate doing sketches because nothing ever ends up looking like how I tried to make it look. And so with that, I like use words. I have in my notebook, I have at the top what the project is, like the idea wise. Then I turn it and I write down what goes into it, and then I turn it and I write down the materials. I turn it and turn it and turn it. And so essentially it's a spiral of what I'm doing. And I got that idea kind of from Leonardo da Vinci, how he wrote all his stuff in his own language for him to know.
He wrote it like
backwards. Yeah. And so my stuff is like for me to understand. I'm not trying to hide anything from anybody, but I need my own personal. And that even goes into my work. Like there's a personal within it. Even if I'm talking about something that connects to everybody, either I'm in it physically, like an image of me or a figure of me, whatever, my words are in it, or I've done something to just like manipulate it, then people will go, okay, this is what he does. And so the process, everything starts with the words, but then it goes into graphic design. And I'm digitally making whatever I'm trying to do. And then from there, it goes into paintings or sculptures or however I want to go. But the two main processes is the words, which I have to do with my ideas, and then the graphically done stuff.
Okay, so kind of just explain to me that what like determines, a canvas picture or a sculpture.
Yeah, so all my not all, but 99.99% of my sculptures have to do with apprehension. So they have to do with the sadness, the negativity, the fear, the worry. And then my 2D works, all about elation, the happiness, the uplift. And both might have elements in there that might confuse you into thinking the one or the other, but the main substance of it is the 2D has the happiness, the 3D has the negativity in there.
Okay. Why?
I feel like that for me personally, creating in a 3D physical sculptural, you can see it, you can feel it, you can experience it in type of realm, will help the apprehension more, will help you understand the worry more than if I just paint it. It's like more, it's less stagnant. And then for the elation stuff, I feel like what I have to communicate is best served as a 2D, a flat surface for you to walk up on it more.
And do you think you might expand into something else, or what do you think the evolution of your art may look like in 10, 20 years?
I like want to get into film. I love how like filmmakers can make something and they leave you with a feeling. And that's what I want to do in my artwork. I want to leave you with a feeling that you are convinced that what I'm trying to do and say is what it is. But I think that I'll still be creating in the mediums. Maybe some like materials might be different here and there, but the stuff I talk about will always be pushed in the future. And in 10, 20 years, I'll still be doing things to change the life. Like my whole purpose in life, I feel like, is to project our people's excellence, is to uplift our people.
Spike Lee, Do the Right Thing, that type of stuff. Yeah, that's dope. But what do you think like the goal is with your work then? What's the end goal with your work? What do you want to accomplish out of it?
I want to be known. I want to help. I want to uplift. I want to educate. So I want to be an educator for the simple fact of there are not a lot of black professors within the arts. Every art class I've taken, I probably had one black professor my whole life. And I want to be the professor in there who is letting the black kids, the people of color kids in my class know that you can make work and not have to feel ashamed about it. I've had students in my class, they feel like they can't make certain things because people are going to judge them. People have said, oh, why you always got to talk about this? Why you always got to do this? Why can't you do this? And it's like, I'm trying to break that. I don't want them to feel like that ever. And while also educating and helping any other student. Like, I don't care what you look like. I want to help you be the best artist you could be. But when it comes to me personally and my work, I want to be known, for sure. I want people to be like, okay, this man is making a difference. This man is doing things to impact our world. I want to build a bridge for the young. Because, like I said earlier, we lost the sense of knowing who we are. And some of us feel ashamed of who we are. I know, like, when I had moved to Tennessee, like in my high school career, there were some moments where I didn't want to feel like the stereotype of a black man or black person. So I did certain things so they wouldn't see who I am. So they wouldn't have to be like,
conforming.
I conformed, yeah. And there's a lot of whitewashed black people, a lot of black people who have been brought up in a certain area, certain demeanor or whatever, and they feel like they can't be who they are. And then when they get around other black people are like, oh, you're not a real black. I don't like that. Like, just because like you grew up in a certain area does not mean you're not the same as black person as me or whatever here and there. But I want to help the black person who feels alone. I want to help the black person who, like, when I talk about certain things, you might not know what I'm talking about, but you're still black, so you should feel proud in who you are, proud of who you come from and everything there. I want to build a bridge for the young and let them know that I'm here for your future, for my future, for everybody's future. We can't move upon this world and not want to help the young. Like, my fraternity, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, has like a whole motto of we do it for the kids. And that's who I do it for also, not just the old, but the young. Because if we don't educate them, how would they know? And so while my artwork might have explicit things in it, sometimes you have to have that maliciousness so that they can understand. I want to be Jay-Z famous, not Kanye West famous. I'm not trying to go here and Kanye, if you hear this, I do not care. But I do not want to be here and people see me as a sellout. Like, yeah, you shouldn't really care what people see you as, but at the same time, if you're projecting that, you are seen as that, you are that. I want to be Jay-Z famous in the sense of like, I'm never going to forget who I am and where I come from and what I'm doing it for or who I'm doing it for. Yes, I want to make bread. I want to get that money. I want to be seen. I want to like have everything, but I also want to teach. I want to be an educator. I want to help, and I want to remain myself.
Mm. And you kind of talked about high school and kind of what experiences do you have that kind of led you to this spot of mind?
The thing that 100% clicked for me was when COVID happened and the George Floyd thing happened. I had already been feeling like some type of way about everything that's been going on in my life because I learned about my mom and dad from the 60s, so they taught me things about like the things that happened. I had to read books. When I was young, I didn't want to read all these books, but now I know why I had to read them because they wanted to educate
Your
me.
parents educated you before the school system could?
Because school system, they give you one little glimpse of something, and they don't really give you entirety of it. But when I like was watching all these protests of Black Lives Matter, watching all these cops kill these people, and the responses that people give, I would get so mad. And that's when I made like a quick change of like, cause my work before this, like in undergrad, I'll say before my like final semester, final year, whatever, it was just about the American, like people, human experience or whatever here and there, talking about whatever. But my professor was like, yo, make what makes you feel. And I got so pissed off that I just started making stuff like this. And in a way, I felt like I was denying my purpose before I started doing this. When I was in high school, I remember we didn't have assigned seats at tables, but people usually sat in the same spot they always sat in.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, I thought I was cool with these people. At the table, there was me, a Black person, an Asian person, and the rest were white. And so I was sitting there, and the white dude, was going to say something. Oh, why is Matt sitting in my seat? And, him and I joking around, ha, ha, ha. And then the dude sitting next to me said, oh, because he's a nigger. And it's like, first of all, that was uncalled for. You didn't even have to say that. Second of all, it's like, I was shocked. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did something to him after he said that, but at the same time, it's like, when you move around the world, that everybody could just be one, and then things happen when you realize we can't be one. That's like heartbreaking. Even at a young age, hearing people call me a nigger, or you people, or even boy, or this and this, like making you feel like you're out of place. That stuff bottles up. And we might not think about it when we get older, but that could do one or two things. That can lead you to how I am, where I could be cool with anybody, I could be chill with anybody, I could be anything.
Until they cross that line.
Until they cross that line. But I'm very knowledgeable. I'm never ignorant to what's going on, what could happen. Or that could lead you to the sense of where you disown your own people. And because you don't want to be seen as that or recalled that, now you want to go and conform to the other society. You want to go and vote against your own interests, which we all should vote, especially about people. I don't care what you say, we should vote. But now you want to go against your people and just conform to the wrong side. And so basically, your upbringing, what happens in your life, could determine those two paths of how you end things, or how things go.
And I mean, you kind of said something that kind of stuck with me. You talking about the lunch tables. It's not assigned seats, and that kind of reminded me of a teacher I had in like middle school, and he brought us in class one day, and he said, "You know what I noticed in the lunchroom?" He said, "There's unintentional segregation. There's this table is full of the Black kids, and then there's the table that sit with the only white kids, and I'm cool with the Black guys. Why am I not sitting over there? I'm more cool with the Black guys than I am with the white guys, but I still sit with the white guys, unconsciously, and that's kind of and that's just to your point that really happens.
Yeah, and then that all goes with comfortability. We feel more. You grew up in that area. You grew up around those people, so you feel more comfortable.
Right.
With me, I feel more comfortable around other Black people. I don't care if it's in the hood. I don't care if it's in the suburbs. You could be the preppiest Black person around. I'm still gonna feel some slight comfortability around you. Whereas when we're younger, we gravitate to what we know, and so even in my school, the black kids usually, there were like a couple like specks here and there who were in our groups, but mainly it was like black sat with black and here and sat with there, and that even goes to show things would never change. We always gonna go with our people. However, they do have the possibility of changing, of accepting, yo, come over here. What I have found is black people will accept other races faster than other races will accept us, and that's some shit.
And with that, it's been the Flex Media Podcast. Thank you, Matt Meyer, again for hopping on. Eye-opening interview. Check out his art if you want to shout out anything.
Yeah, my Instagram and my website is Real Matt Meyer, MattMeyer. It's one word, Real Matt Meyer. The website is just realmattmeyer.com. Yeah.